Hey, Mark, what's going on, brother? Man, where is that recipe of mine? This old recipe for 420 IPA. There it is. I'm always freaking smoking and forget where all my things are. Man, I need to go and freaking review this beer, man. I made this a while back. I was going to make this for the 420. I was going to have this big review show, the 420 IPA show. But, you get smoking, you get thinking about these things. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you get thinking about these things, and all of a sudden, you know, friggin', you know how it is. You get smoking, you forget, and it's the 420 IPA. It's coming in at 6.7% tonight here at you at the Keag House. How is everybody doing tonight? We got ourselves the 420 show. It's a 420 IPA. I made this I made this thing back in March, and I was like, my whole plan was like, I'm going to put on this big 420 show, and it's going to be, I'm going to put the video out on 420. It's going to be insane, but making a beer that's like big in alcohol without planning it, kind of doing it kind of spur of the moment. When you make a big beer like that, a big IPA, you can kind of mess up, make some mistakes. So tonight we're going to check out these mistakes and we're going to, see how we could have made this better. This is the 420 American IPA. The 420 review. As if. I didn't make it to that, but it's now May, what? The 13th, 14th? Come on, guys, I came close. You get smoking, you forget, you get behind, you check on the beer, and the beer still has a high gravity, and now you're all screwed. You're like, oh, I was going to review this on 420, but now I got to let this thing set a little bit longer. And you start to think about it. It's like, how come this beer has only finished at right there at the old 10:21? Coming in at 6.7%. There was a couple of reasons why this beer was has been coming late, to you to be reviewed. Let me crack it real quick. Let me pour this baby. There's a lot of smoke on ahead. There's a little smoke on this baby. I'll let you check it out as I pour it. This thing has always had a crazy head on it, so I'm gonna pour it really slow. Oh, no, okay. Okay. I guess the head on this one's not too bad at all, so I'm going to pour it big then. There's some carbonation here. As you can see, the head is the head just not happening at all really on this beer. But, yeah. There's a little bit of, carbonation going on there. Yeah. So, anyway, let's talk about some things, about reasons why I have to improve as a brewer. If I'm going to make a big beer, I'm going to make a fucking IPA too. I'll tell you the truth. So, you've scoped out the recipe. You've seen it, the hops I felt like were pretty good, the schedule. Now to me, here's number one. I'm gonna start straying away from. I hate liquid malt extract. I every time I brew with it, it just has like this lingering sweetness that I just can't get rid of. I have to either hop it really big if I'm gonna brew with it, to kind of hide this sweetness, this malt. It's like a sugary sweetness. It's like a mapley fucking sweetness that's just always there, and I can taste it. And to me, I just can't stand a beer that's like that. I like a little bit of like a bite on the back end, and if it's just big and sweet, especially if it's like 10, 20, 10, 21 coming in on the scale, it's going to still have some sweetness. To me, it starts to dry up around 10-16, 10-15, especially be like this. If this one could have came in around like 10-16, I'd be really happy. But that also comes to also problem number 2. So I had a fresh pack of US 05 dry yeast, and I hate that fucking yeast. And every time that I use that yeast, it's always a problem. There's an off ester, doesn't finish right, finishes too high. I should have brewed this with a slurry of 1272, and I think that this would have actually finished a lot drier. And also, that comes to number 3, is always make a yeast starter. That's something that I have to do anytime I brew a beer that's above, 1063 on the sugar scale. If it's above that, you got to make a starter, and that bitch has got to be bubbling, bubbling. You know what I'm saying? So on that, I'm gonna just, I'm gonna tell you about this beer. I'm gonna taste it now, and tell you what it's all about. So, smell coming right off the back. Now before, this kind of had a cotton candy smell. Now I'm smelling it now today, and it almost smells like there's some hop there too. But there's also that super big sugary sweetness there. So I'm gonna taste it. Yeah, it's a little bit. The sweetness fucking kills it. I'm just gonna come out and say it. To me, I should have skipped the sugarcane, organic sugarcane. Maybe put in straight corn sugar. If I had put in straight corn sugar, maybe it would have encouraged the yeast packet to be more healthier and chew faster and push below 1021. To me, I just think it all came down to how healthy my yeast was going into this. Plus, I just kind of spur of the moment was like, hey, let's make a super big beer. Let's make like a 1080 or like a 1075 like IPA. I was like, yeah, and then I didn't even take into account like I should, like, I just made it really quick. So stop making really quick beers. Beers are like expensive nowadays to make, and that's one thing I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna start chilling out on is I'm gonna stop making so many beers, but I'm gonna start making like small batches of like really good beers. Beers that I've brewed before. Make starters for all those, and do that. So on that note here, this was a small batch. But I had the stuff to make this like a potential like a 5-gallon beer, which I probably should have done. I should have I should have watered this down a little bit more. It's very like big and rich and syrupy, sugary. And I think to me there's even like this slight oxidated slight tang that's in there. So I think like it might have started popping slow too because it was so big. It might have started popping slow, and it oxidized a little bit. So on that note, this is the 420 IPA. I'm not proud of it. It's not my greatest thing ever. It's a 2 out of a 2 out of 5. You know, I fell flat on my face, but hey, whatever. The smoke this year fucking came out great though. If I can say anything 420-ish to be a theme about this video, is my weed this year came out fucking dynamite. Oh. Oh, that pineapple kush. So good. So good. Yeah, the smoke this year came out really good. So, on that note, if there's anything good that can be said about this, the 420 IPA review, is that weed is still very good here at the Keag House. And, you know, sometimes an IPA, it's to me, I always struggle with IPAs anyway. And I think tonight I really have just learned my lesson completely. You know, stop brewing with liquid malt extract. Do all grain. And then, if I have to cheat, some dry malt extract. I like dry malt extract a little bit more, honestly, a lot more. It's like adding like a sugar that's of the corn that's the sweetness from the malt. So it's like it's sugar that's already been taken from the malt. It's, I don't know. To me it tastes better. It's more balanced. But So yeah, 3 things. Screw liquid malt extract. Number 2, screw United States USO 5. Just brew with 1272. Save yourself the time and energy. And also make a starter every time you make a beer. Make a starter. So especially if it's above, you know, the 1060s, getting up to 1065, make a starter. So on that note, it's the 420 beer, 420 IPA, American Ale. I think I'm gonna let this hang out here in the house a little bit longer. Let this kind of carbonate. Let it think about what it's done. Let it think about how bad of a beer it is. Maybe give it some time to think about these things. Maybe it will come around and, you know. So. Yeah, there's like an oxidated, almost like a purple grape malt bland hodgepodge, you know. It's not great at all, really. So, on that note, I'm just sit here and smoke on it and think about the things I've done. Which is, grown great weed. Last year I did good. But the beers can be hit or miss here at the Keag House sometimes. And on that note, folks, cheers.